So they really just kind of played with these tables, I guess, if you will, because they advanced ignition timing overall. Then they capped MBT, which didn't really play much of a factor because MBT is usually significantly more than your regular spark timing tables. But then they went and took a bunch of the modifiers and dropped them. And they really, it's probably, I think it's pretty good strategy in terms of 2024, which I was actually kind of surprised by because I thought the overall ECU strategy behind this whole thing was really weak. But I feel they did a pretty good job in the ignition timing part of it because they're really just using the lambda modifier and some of the other modifiers, which is a good, safe, and can sometimes be aggressive strategy to limit timing when they don't want it, but they've advanced it when they did want it. So the problem with this whole strategy, though, is they took torque management and just killed it all. So if we jump over, you can see, as I mentioned, anything in green is changed between the two. So again, we're looking at the 2022 and the 2024. And as I showed you guys on the 2024 GT and Dark Horse, they didn't touch the regular torque tables. They did between 2022 and 2024. So they also made some adjustments to regular torque management, but the big changes are right in here. So we're just going to grab the first torque table. This is 2022 GT right here. You guys can see this engine torque down in here. We're at 424 foot-pounds in the 90 load range at 5,000, 6,000 RPMs. Then we're getting into 500, 517, 521 foot-pounds in there. But then as soon as you jump over to the S650 platform, it drops significantly. It actually doesn't drop a ton when it comes to this high load range. It's still enough to say, though, because we're anywhere between 60 foot-pounds to 74 foot-pounds as it drops a little bit more as we get into the upper RPM range. They obviously wanted to pull some power out of this thing, but they still detuned it. So this is the spread, this is the difference. And you can see a huge difference in this mid-range. So anything before you're under complete full 1.1 load, wide open throttle, pushing serious air, you're losing 200 foot-pounds of torque or more between the 2022 and the 2024. So that right there, guys, is the big difference that you're seeing in these cars when they're on the dyno. Everybody expected to see a car that was rated for 480 horse at the crank to put a lot more down at the wheels on the dynos than they are, because a lot of these S550s are putting serious power out, especially as guys tweak and tune and add JLT intakes and exhaust and small bolt-on mods with tunes. You're pushing a little bit more power than stock, of course, and then all of a sudden you get this new S650 platform that boasts 480 horse on the GT and 500 on the Dark Horse, not putting out anywhere near that at the wheels, of course, which is to be expected. But again, I said not even close, and this is why. They've just completely detuned the cars in terms of torque management and just held it back. So as you guys can see, as soon as tuning's available in these cars, the encryption's gone, or we may have to send these computers in like Dodge does to get them unlocked, which isn't a big deal. That can be done usually for 200, 250 bucks with HP tuners, and send the computer in, get it unlocked, and then tune it. But as you guys can see, as soon as this torque management can be adjusted, some ignition timing adjustments, maybe some fuel enrichment, and a few other things, these cars are going to put out some serious power. So it really just comes down to the stranglehold of torque management and a handful of other things. But I did want to jump into the transmission because this is a big piece on these cars, and a big factor as to how we, or why, how we're going to be able to help with this S650 tune file, because right now we're just in R&D. Obviously we can't flash the cars. As I said earlier, the car just won't start because of the encryption. However, we're going to be able to take the transmission data, because a lot of these 10R80s don't really drive very well. If you guys are watching this and you own a 10-speed S550 Mustang, you know what I'm talking about. These cars, they jerk at times, they shift kind of funny. The shift scheduling properties, pressures, torque converter, everything. There's so much involved in these transmissions in the tuning data. And a lot of guys on the S650 are really praising it, saying that Ford has made significant changes to really clean these cars up and make them drive a lot better and push a lot more performance in terms of shifting out of it. And so I wanted to show you guys this because anything in green, as I mentioned, is a change. And you're going to see a ton of changes between the two, the 2022 and the 2024 GT, in terms of just the transmission alone. There's so many properties in here, I won't have enough time to go through them all, but they're significant. And they've made major changes to the shift scheduling, the shift pressures even, timing properties. And so what we're able to do is actually take the value file of the S650 10R80 transmission and apply it to your S550 10R80 transmission and really clean things up. So if we can help, let us know. Okay guys, there you have it. Now you can see the differences between the new S650 GT and Dark Horse and also the S550 and new S650. So if you guys have any questions, thoughts, comments, shoot them in the comments, shoot me a DM, and I'd love to chat a little bit more about it with you guys. Have a good one.